Hey, welcome to another Core Conversation. My name is Mark Vasilius, and I'm here with two good-looking guys from North Bay, and we're actually in North Bay. I'm looking outside right now to a beautiful snowy day, and we're going to get into, I guess, all the background information on the Renaissance North Bay project. And these two young guys here are going to explain. They're partners, they're investors, and they've got a lot to say. So we're going to learn about North Bay. We're going to learn about the project. And we're going to learn a little bit about them. So let's start with that. Let's start with the two of you guys. How did you get to be where you're at right now? Because I know you have a lot to say, but tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, so we love North Bay. We're born and bred here. We've been here our whole lives. Went away to school, came back, made our lives here, raised our families here.
Beautiful.
And we've been business partners for 15 years, working.
As I guess everyone asks, as brothers, do you guys fight a lot?
No, not at all. No. You know what? It's great to be on the same page. Sometimes we're at different sections of the page, but sure, we ultimately have the same vision together.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. And so how did you, I know a little bit about it, but for our viewers, how did you guys build up the love for real estate? Like, how did that start off?
I guess as kids, always involved in entrepreneurial ventures, from selling baseball cards to having our own retail stores.
To the pest control.
To the pest control.
Painting company.
We were always problem solving.
Yeah. Wow, amazing.
And Jeff and I, we share strengths. Jeff's very strong in certain aspects, I'm strong in other aspects, and it just always melds. We always have big visions. Just because we live in a small town doesn't mean we can't make a large impact. So we've always been really involved in affordable housing, renovating old derelict,
looking for opportunities,
buildings,
value add,
bringing small businesses together, and just flourishing as a community. And Jeff and I, we've always kind of followed our passions, and we really know that North Bay will have a huge shortage and need for affordable seniors housing.
Right on.
Yeah.
There's no question. I've known you guys, about 2 years, that you amaze me on the number of businesses that you see opportunities in. And I know that this project is only just one of them. Like when I met you guys, I think you were well into the 130 doors range. I know you've downsized a bit, so you are doing what you say you're doing. But what is it about real estate in particular that you think North Bay is so great about? Like what is it about it that attracts you?
Yeah, you know what? It's the growth. It's putting, our philosophy has always been to put tenants first. In anything that we do. If you take care of the tenant, if you make sure that they're satisfied and happy, you're only going to succeed. So that's something that we've really had as our cornerstone of our approach to business. North Bay for us, like I said, we have been raised here our whole lives. We've been working together as partners for 15 years. Recently, though, we've seen a real uptick in interest in North Bay in general. We've always known it's been a beautiful city. It's got 2 wonderful lakes, beautiful foliage around here. It's a great place to live and work and play, and a lot of people are finding out the secret, I think.
Yeah, so on that note, North Bay, as we were talking earlier, some people think it's Thunder Bay. There's a bit of a difference there. I know that we have some investments in the Orillia area, and North Bay is almost twice the size of Orillia. What is the economic drivers that are pushing people to come into North Bay from a business perspective?
Richness of lifestyle. Being able to have your choice of schools within 10-minute drive.
Right.
Being stuck in traffic for 5 minutes and
as opposed to 50 minutes.
It's a rich lifestyle. The quality of life is here, and especially during COVID, people from condos said, "Hey, I can buy affordable real estate and raise my family and have wonderful schools and a safe community." It's 3 hours from Toronto.
When you think about it, that's almost like London. London is 2 hours. Kingston is 2.5. So it's very similar to that. On that note, COVID certainly has found some not weaknesses, I should say actually strengths within North Bay, because I remember reading just recently that North Bay boomed during COVID because, exactly to your point, people were recognizing, oh my God, we can live in North Bay for half the price of that. And I know, we're speaking of retiring, we're looking at very similar things for retirement, because I know there's several retirement homes in the area, but from your analysis Do you think that another retirement home will do well, or what's the demand for that?
So I think that there's a real gap in the market. They've got a lot of long-term, like nursing home style accommodations around here. They're building one, which is great. That's going to service that segment well. There's a redevelopment of Castle Home, which we all know about here in North Bay.
Yep. That's
happening. And then on the upper end of the scale, there's a really nice place down on the water that's just sunk a bunch of money into a bunch of units. But I mean, those rents are like $5,000-6,000 a month. So we really feel like there's a wide sweet spot for us to provide an offering in North Bay that's going to appeal to the masses and be able to have somewhere for them to go once they can't manage their house anymore. If they want a more simple lifestyle, they're going to be able to plug right into our project.
So let's talk a bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about, specifically about the project. Let's first start with, I want to cover the land. I want to cover, the fundamental, the economics of it, and of course, I want to talk directly about the actual type of retirement home we're putting. So let's talk about the property. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the property and surrounding area.
Well, firstly, Mark, we've been working on this grand idea for the past 3 years. We really were excited, and we invested in some studies that again proved that there is a huge need for housing for the baby boomers. We didn't want to do the traditional retirement home because we see a lot of challenges. We see a lot of different regulations and things that you'd have to provide. We want to provide something to the youthful retiree,
right on,
stage before retirement, because I think
nobody likes to live in a retirement home.
No,
so,
the baby boomer generation especially, because of where their parents went and how that experience, I'm sure, impacted them. So we want to provide a youthful community where like-minded seniors are congregated, sharing the same amenities, only paying for what they want, not having to pay the whole package. Lock your door, go away.
And we found a pallet in North Bay. It's a gorgeous piece of land. It's 6 acres in total. Okay. We plan to initially develop 2.5 acres in our phase 1 approach, but I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for future development on this piece of property. It's flat. It has no environmental issues. The geotechnical survey is absolutely conducive to building a nice big building like we want. So I mean, it really is a...
How many units are we looking at?
I think we're looking at between 120 and 140 units.
Okay. And there's the parking, because I know people are always concerned about parking. How are we going to handle that?
Well, sorry, I'll take this one as well, but there's a ton of extra space there, sort of in between the two phases. There's ample parking.
And in terms of, I know a building is great, but what, as a senior, or as we call it, a baby boomer who doesn't want to retire, what's the amenities around there?
So, just within the doorstep, Pharmasave, restaurants, grocery stores, doctor's offices, salons. There's the
curling, tennis, right next door.
Tim Hortons.
Oh yeah, we forgot the most. Everyone knows that Tim Hortons is close to everything.
Oh yeah, well, it's on Trouble Lake, and by the way, the lake, which I remember when we were up there. So
absolutely beautiful location, already booming with seniors units, just older. Older. And this one is just prime. It had a billboard in the parking lot for years. North Bay locals will know the site as the drive-in movie theater.
Right on. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it was known for.
And what is really exciting is the architectural firm that's involved in this.
Sure.
Nathan Jensen. Yep. He's a local.
Yep, absolutely.
Progressive, has built some beautiful projects, and he's really excited about this site, about the concept. And I think our team will be really successful.
So I know we touched on a little bit about how this is a unique building. I think it's called the Seniors Tailored Apartments, which is STA. Explain a little bit about what's different about STA versus regular retirement homes.
Absolutely. So I think the major difference is you're not forced to pay for services that you don't utilize. Cool. So it's got an a la carte approach. You can get breakfast if you want. You don't have to eat your lunch at 12. You don't have to eat your dinner at 5. Right. You can choose when you get it. You can interact with the services of the building in a really casual atmosphere. So there's going to be like a licensed lounge. There's going to be a huge flex space. There's going to be tons of medical, like teleconferencing rooms. rooms, a salon, a gym, just some flex space that really makes people feel like they're in a really exclusive building. But they can have all the services that they're used to brought right to their door. You can hire someone to walk your dog for you, buy your groceries for you, anything.
So I'm guessing then, from an economic perspective, rents are nowhere near what regular retirement homes would be.
No, I believe the rent range in North Bay would be 4,000 to 6,000.
Right,
We want to be around,
which is pretty common in any place. Yeah.
And to a senior's budget, I'm sure that would provide years of living. We want to provide a product. We say a Camry, not a Cadillac.
Right. On.
And
Cheap and cheerful.
yeah, we want to be the $3,200 to $3,500 range, depending on phases, on size of units, etc. But we do want to remain affordable to house, the middle class.
Yeah, the builders of our city.
So let's talk just a little bit. So we've covered you guys. We've covered the property. Let's talk a little bit about, for an investor, as to why some of the economics. I know you mentioned there's phasing. For someone that really doesn't understand, what does that mean for the property perspective?
So the size of the property allows multiple projects. The first project alone makes sense.
Okay.
So as an investor,
right? Okay.
As an investor, to get involved in the first stage, first initial phases especially, are going to be very rewarding. To then look down the future of activating this building, fulfilling the absorption of the building,
Yeah.
and then to look forward at the future phases, to already make money in the first stage,
Right.
is
And I think that's the key point, is just the pro forma alone on phase one, which is the retirement section, is profitable. The returns that we were showing in our offering memorandum. Phase two is really just a bonus. And describe a little bit of what phase two looks like. And I want to just emphasize, we're zoned and ready to go for the retirement home. But phase two, what are we looking at for phase two?
Yeah, so phase two, basically, like Tom said, we do want to create a community. We have 6 acres to take advantage of it and make everyone feel as though, yes, they're in North Bay, but they're also in a very friendly community of their own. So we would ultimately like to build townhouse units that would accommodate folks that maybe aren't ready for apartment living, that would prefer maybe a little bit of a backyard, kind of a row housing type of a feel. Very nice finishings, very easy to live in, very conducive to people that just want a really nice place to live in a beautiful community. And then, you know what, when they're ready for that apartment experience, they just move right across the street.
Right. So there's a new buzzword right now. It's called aging in place. And so this would be the townhouse might be for someone a little bit more independence, but and I would call it a retirement home. In reality, it's not. We don't want to call it that. It's a seniors tailored apartment. Would be somewhere where they would move to, where everything's more in house.
That's right. A little more accessible, a little easier.
The amenities would go back and forth.
Right. Sharing of amenities. How about some commercial? Is there going to be any commercial spots on there? I know you mentioned some hairdressing and things like that, but
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously a lot of the commercial aspects of the building will be geared towards the residents of the building, but they'll be open to the public in terms of being able to go get your hair cut if you're just a regular citizen in North Bay. But it's definitely there for the convenience of the residents.
So, sort of wrapping up a little bit from an investor standpoint, where do we stand with the project right now in terms of some timelines? Like, what do you guys? Where are we at for getting things done?
We want to be site plan approved in the next 12 months.
Okay.
We want to purchase the property and pick our builder.
Okay, so we got to purchase the property, but it's already zoned.
Correct.
So I believe we already have some applications in. We've got Nathan working on that.
Yep.
And then we should see site plan approval this year, and then hopefully construction. Talk a little bit about that. What kind of construction methods are we looking at? You guys?
Some interesting technologies out there, and especially living in the north, you really have to consider that because of the time frames of the seasons.
Right, the opening.
We've seen some projects be stuck because of their concrete pouring, and we've looked at prefab buildings,
Right on.
which you kind of know your cost. It's being built inside.
Right.
The efficiencies of the time executing it to be open. That's there is the cost to build, but there's the time to build as well.
Right on.
So it's figuring out how to build this the most efficiently and get it active as soon as possible. So there's precast concrete. That's really interesting. There was a hotel recently built here in town. The color choice is a bit odd, but they were able to complete the structure of the building in a very timely manner. Whereas another project on the same scale used a different method, and they were stuck heating and heating. So being decisive and efficient in choosing our construction will have a major impact on this project.
And sorry, from an investor perspective, in terms of timeline, if we're looking at purchasing, we're looking at site planning. I believe we're going to start marketing probably this year as well, because being zoned, we're allowed to do that. And in terms of like actual occupancy, it's about a 2-year, 3-year project. What are we looking at, do you think?
I'd say probably by the time everything is finished with, I'd say within the 3-year time frame for sure. Probably 3 years from now, we'll see some occupancy in some of those units. We're always cognizant. Tom and I have worked our whole careers being very hands-on and very cognitive of costs and making sure that things are planned out properly and work right from day one. So we really are taking our time to make sure that this is planned out properly. We only want to do this once. The city's behind us. We had a great pre-consultation with the city. They didn't raise any red flags whatsoever. So they just really want to see, honestly, they really want to see a couple of local guys with help from CORE, of course, and everyone else that we're talking to be able to build something in North Bay that the city of North Bay can be proud of.
Yeah.
And our folks, we're obviously we have aging parents too. We would love to see folks like that occupy our place.
And from an investor standpoint, I just want to wrap up. From an investor standpoint, I believe it's RSP eligible, so anyone with RSPs, you can invest in that way. Cash, of course. We're working through an EMD. I know that we're doing some seminars locally, and we're all real excited to get this started. So Tom and Jeff, thanks so much for joining us on Core Conversations, and thank you for joining us. And if you have any interest in following up, you can either contact myself or contact anyone at Core about the Renaissance North Bay project. Thanks. We'll see you next time on the Core Conversations.